G'day guys, my name's Sam. I'm the guy that you can hear behind the still life motion tutorial videos, and yeah, I just wanted to change things up today, show my face, and just kind of introduce myself to you. So hello, I'm Sam, and yeah, basically I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's been kind of watching the videos and to those who have subscribed. This channel's been up for a few years. But I don't have that many videos for someone who's had a channel up for a few years. And there's been a number of things. It's been because of time, it's been because I've been doing some other stuff. But I also would love to have feedback from you guys regarding what sort of tutorials you want. It's all well and good to kind of come up with what I think you guys want to know. But if that's not what you guys want to know, then what's the point of doing a video? So I just want to kind of put myself out there and say I'd love your suggestions regarding tutorial ideas, whether it's video editing, text, graphics, After Effects, Final Cut Pro, Garageband, you name it. Happy to give it a crack. There's a lot of stuff that I can do. There's a lot of stuff that I can't do. So you just have to bear with me. But I'd love your suggestions regarding tutorials and what you guys want to know. And that leads me to today's tutorial, which is for all of our home recording enthusiasts out there. Now I do a bit of music and home recording, and I've dabbled in Pro Tools and Logic in the past, but what I keep coming back to is Garageband. It's got a lot of the capabilities that a lot of the more high-end recording software has, but I think because people assume that it's just your standard user-friendly piece of software, which it is, that it doesn't have some of those more advanced features, and so they kind of disregard it. They don't even go and look for them. I've been using GarageBand for a long time, and there's surprisingly not a lot that you can't do within GarageBand that you can do within the more higher end pieces of recording software. But what a lot of people find, and I've found this for years, is that you have all these tracks together, and you're just pumping. You're like, this sounds awesome, and then you export it. You throw it into iTunes or whatever, and you notice that the volume has just been stripped back. It's lost all the guts that it originally had, and it's almost like, well, that's it. I just can't do much about it. There's two ways you can go about this. One is you can pay a mastering engineer to master it for you, to lift that volume up to radio quality or to professional standards. But the second way, you can actually kind of do it yourself. Now, it's not going to be anywhere near as good as if you paid someone who's got a lot of the equipment to do it properly. But this is going to at least get your volume up. It's going to do a bit of a compression on it, and so I reckon there's a really helpful tip for those who are doing a lot of home recording, especially using GarageBand. So let's jump into it. Okay, so we're in GarageBand and we've got our project with all our tracks here. Now this is probably actually one of my smaller songs in terms of how many tracks I've got. Usually I've got double this and it gets quite slow. Anyway, but if I just play this to you now, right? And you're just getting this from the audio from the mic, so you're not going to hear what it's actually sounding like. Okay, notice two things, right? First, when I play this intro down here, at the master volume, you'll notice it's hitting the red on every beat of that kick, 4 on the floor. And then when it kind of cuts out, the volume drops drastically, right? Okay, this means two things. Firstly, because it's peaking at the start there, GarageBand knows that when you export this track, it's going to say to itself, okay, I have to compensate for that peaking, and it's going to drop the volume to a point where it's not peaking anymore. Okay, and that's a good thing, because if you exported it with the peaking and GarageBand didn't touch it at all, it'd be distortion all over the place, even though you can't hear it within the track. That's what would happen, because you're not hearing a mix down. But if you did send a mix down without GarageBand doing its thing, it would be messy as, and you would have to fix that. Anyway, but the second thing it means is that when you export this, because GarageBand is then reducing the overall volume of the track, it means if you played this in someone's car, right, they're going to be, first of all, it's unmastered, right? So the volume's dropping in and out all over the place, which is not a good thing, because if you listen to a song on the radio you find that you're able to just leave your volume set at whatever you want it at, and that's fine. Whereas if you play this in your car or wherever, and you compare it to other tracks, if you played this, you're gonna be wanting to turn it down at the start and turning it back up when this verse starts playing. And honestly, people don't want to have to do that when they're listening to a song. Hence why they pay people to master their tracks and make them sound flipping amazing. So we've got to fix that. But we're not going to be able to fix it within this project. So what you want to do is you want to come up to share and you want to export your song to disk and just export it. No worries. And then we're going to create a new project and we're just going to leave it clean slate. No worries. First of all, you can delete this grand piano track. We don't need that. You can keep it there alternatively too if you like the look of it. So we're going to drag our exported track into Garageband. And first thing I want to show you is this evidence of Garageband reducing the overall volume. So have a look down here now. Okay, so whilst before it was hitting that red every time on the kick, now it's pretty much reaching a max limit, and then it's kind of stopping there. So Garageband has been, you can say Garageband's been quite nice to us there. But as I said, the overall volume's dropped and we need to fix that. So what we're going to do is we're going to just come to edit and we're going to click here to add an effect and we're going to come all the way down to AU peak limiter. And we're just going to come here, right? And then let's start high. Let's start higher than we're going to finish up. And so let's just put it at about 10.8 or 11. And I'll just hit play for you so you can hear what this has done now. And you'll notice the intro is going to be quite loud and in your face. So let's have a look. Okay, so that's very messy, you can tell. But the good thing is now this verse, down here if you have a look, it's right up there. People aren't going to be having to adjust their volume. So, but I think 10.8 is probably a bit too extreme. So let's just play it and we'll bring it down. I reckon 5.6 is pretty good actually. Let's have one more listen. So it's still a little bit messy in that intro, but it's a lot cleaner than it was before. And you'll notice that down here, it's still only getting to that level that it was before. So we haven't added any distortion to it. And you'll notice that in this verse now, it's right up there as well, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. This is a very stark contrast between the intro and verse, and this is probably the biggest contrast the song's going to have. And for those levels to be quite similar, that's perfect. But we do want to make sure that we're not making our tracks so messy. So that's where compressor comes into things. So let's turn this on. And what you want to make sure, first of all, that you turn your gain down on your compressor. Make sure it's at 0 dB because our peak limiter is adding the gain we don't want our compressor to. So let's have a listen. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag. Okay, did you notice that? As I drag that up, I don't know about you, but that sounds way cleaner to me. And the beauty of it, whilst we've lost a touch of volume in this verse, well, we've lost a touch of volume overall, it's still up there. And if we can just compensate and now turn the peak limiter up just a touch, and let's go back to the start. Okay, this is perfect. So we're not peaking at all. We're not even really hitting those reds there. Still sounds clean, sounds how we want it. And then we come to the verse where it's really quiet and we're still quite up there. So what we have to know is that this isn't going to remove the dynamic element of your song. You're not going to be sitting there going, oh, this song's just pumping the whole way through. It's just going to leave it at a volume where the listener doesn't have to do the work. It doesn't have to, they don't have to turn it up and turn it down to hear the song. So this is pretty much all you have to do. And the beauty of it is Unlike our previous project where it was hitting the reds in that intro, and so therefore GarageBand had to compensate, we're not hitting the reds at all now. So GarageBand is going to leave it. It's not going to change it at all. So how you're listening to it now, that's going to be how it sounds. So let's just do a before and after with this peak limiter. As you can tell there, we've added considerable volume without going into the reds down here, and that's the difference, right? Even though, yeah, you can add volume in the previous project, because it's going into the reds, GarageBand's going to pull it down. It's going to ignore whatever you do when it hits those reds. The beauty of it here is that it's not hitting the reds. So if you really do want to, you can make this song pump and you can get it up to 12, and it's still not in the reds, and that's how it'll sound. I warn you that it will sound it'll sound quite messy when you get rid of it when you export it out of GarageBand. But yeah, you know, that's the beauty of this process, is that you can make it as loud as you want, and GarageBand's going to leave it. So that's pretty much it for this tutorial. So there you have it. I hope that was helpful for you guys, and please leave me your feedback in the comments below, and please give me any suggestions for tutorials that you guys want to see, and I will give it a go. Thanks guys, I'll see you in the next video.